Alright folks, how you doing? Saturday afternoon here in San Diego, day 3 of the Californian trip. It's about 24 or 25 degrees outside for us. I believe from reading the internet it's pissing down back home, so that's highly unfortunate for you guys, however not so much for us because it's pretty tremendous here. Friday was yesterday for us, obviously. First full day California. Just sort of spent it bedding in, to be honest. Had a wee wander down along the front, got something to eat, had a couple of beers in the afternoon. Went to baseball last night. Baseball was pretty good. $13 for a ticket, which can't be sniffed at, and that was a pretty good game actually. Quite enjoyed it. It was only 2-1, but the old locals won, so it was quite a good atmosphere in the stadium. Went for a few beers afterwards up the Gaslamp quarter into Hooters Bar, which was obviously for the drink and nothing else. Met our New Zealand roommate, who's not really said 2 words to us since we got here, but he wandered in pissed about half an hour after we'd been in, when we clocked him sitting across the bar, and me and Stephen were like, I think we'll maybe give him a body swerve due to his state of intoxication and the fact he seemed a bit strange. But he came over actually and introduced himself. He's, funnily enough, his name was Jake, and I think if you'd added a Y to the end of that, you would have sort of a rough idea of the state he was in. But he turned out to be quite a decent guy, rather funny. Told us a story about, which I think I'd posted last night, about him in Mexico last week, somewhere south of Tijuana, which is just over the border for here. He had got in tow, let's say, with a couple of Mexican hookers, and ended up back at their place, getting rather involved with them, I think is the way I'll leave it just now. He was telling us the story, obviously went into quite, and he was quite in depth about it. One of them was in the corner smoking a crack pipe while he was entertaining the other one, and he obviously decided he would have to have a smoke of this crack pipe. So as he's doing that, the door opens and in walks 2 Mexican cops, who proceed to put him in handcuffs and put him in the back of the motor, drive him straight to an ATM, which he then has to get out, give them money, and then they tell him, right, we're going to drive around the block, you stay here. So they drive around the block, and basically they demand more money from him again. So he goes back to the cash point, takes out more money, gives it to them. He then say, just wait here, we're going to drive around the block again, and when they come back around again, they're wanting more money. But he basically pleaded poverty and managed to get away scot-free and never get to jail in Mexico, which wouldn't have been the best, to be fair. So I think the moral of the story I took for that was the next time you're in Mexico and there's hookers and the crack pipe involved, just make sure you lock the door so the police don't wander in. He obviously told us a rather more detailed and in-depth story, and it was rather funny, to be honest. But and that was last night. Just wandered back here, hit our bed, and got a good few hours sleep. Up reasonably fresh this morning, about 8 o'clock. Had breakfast, sort of caught up with usual stuff on the internet while I was having my breakfast, and then went for my first run this morning into San Diego. Just basically come out of the hostel, go straight down for sort of 5 minutes, and that means I'm onto the front. Just running along the front. It was rather busy this morning. That was about 11 o'clock I was out with folk wandering about, and obviously different sort of stalls and stuff along there as well, so it was pretty cool. But I'm sort of running along the promenade, feeling quite good about myself, and sort of looking down, and you're sort of glistening with sweat and stuff, and thinking, do I kind of fit in here? I'm looking pretty good, and obviously striding out. So there's a lot of folk about, so you're not wanting to be going slow, so you're putting a bit of extra effort in. So sort of along the path, there's quite a few beggars, and sort of in the distance, a big straight bit, and sort of in the distance I can see these 2 beggars sort of up ahead, just a couple of black guys, big beards, and just a general mess. So as I'm sort of running towards them, he's sort of shouting at me, "Hey man, you've lost your t-shirt, you late for work?" So I'm just sort of laughing away, and so as I sort of get past them, he turns to his mate, he says, "Oh man, that's the whitest dude I ever seen." Well, aye, cheers mate, thanks very much. So that knocks your confidence when you're out for a run and thinking you're looking good. But that was rather funny. But sort of took a turn and headed back. sort of different route towards the hostel, and heard this big sort of roar beside me, and just as I turned the corner, realised that the airport was just beside it. It was just a 747 or something that was taking off, and just when he kicked in the engines was the roar. So sort of runs up the hill, just past the airport, and sort of hits this sort of level crossing, and sort of big building sort of just in front of us. So I sort of look both ways at level crossing, and Green Man comes on and sort of take 2 steps into the middle of level crossing, and there's a massive roar, and I absolutely shat myself because I thought there was a train coming, and I was about to be creamed, but I just sort of glanced to my right, and then a big 747 appeared just above us, and it's only like 100 feet, so I just totally done a sort of whoa, and I totally shat myself because I wasn't expecting it, but I must have looked like a complete tit if MD had saw me, but it was rather comical, and it's one of the times when you think to yourself, do you know what, I actually totally shit myself there, because at first I thought the train was going up and down, and then I thought I was going to get squashed by a plane, but I was rather humorous at the time, to be fair. Ran back to hostel. I think I'd done it about 45 minutes, so a good effort by myself. I need to try and get back out again for another few runs, given the fact that I'm going back to pre-season training, but just back in here, went for a shower. Stephen and our other roommate, our Brazilian roommate Diego, are just away to watch the Brazil and Japan game in Confederations Cup, so I'm just heading out now to have a few beers at the pub and watch the rest of the game with them. So I'll catch up with you all tomorrow likely, and everybody have a good day, or a good night should I say, and back home. Alright, cheers, see you later.